Hi, my name is Bence Nanay, and I am going to give you a précis, or rather a trailer, a really boring trailer, of my paper, The Role of Imagination in Decision Making. So this is a paper about how we make decisions, how we actually make decisions. And so take the following decision. Suppose you get a job offer. Suppose you get two job offers, which I guess doesn't happen a lot in academia these days. So one of them is from an excellent university with brilliant colleagues and excellent students, but it's in a sleepy small town where there's not a lot to do besides doing research. The other job offer is in a great city with amazing culinary and cultural scene, but with a mediocre university and mediocre colleagues and pretty bad students. So what do you do? How are you going to make up your mind? How are you going to decide? You have 2 weeks to do it. What are you going to do? The standard story about decision making of this kind is that it's beliefs and desires that make all the work. This happens a lot in philosophy of mind. Some beliefs and desires, they're always there. Philosophy of mind explanations, I don't like that in general, and I don't like this more specific way of appealing to beliefs and desires in decision making. And there are empirical reasons not to like it. So the belief-desire model is this: you have a desire to take one job, you have a desire to take the other job. You compare the satisfaction condition of these desires given your background beliefs. It's all about beliefs and desires. So what I want to say is that no, it's all about imagination. So I think we have reason to doubt the belief-desire picture on empirical grounds. There are certain biases on decision-making, well-documented biases, that are difficult to explain within the belief-desire model. And I talk about this in the second section of the paper. So if you're interested in that, you can read that, but I'm not going to talk about it now because I want to focus on the positive account, which is about imagination. So the question then is, how are you making your decision if not by comparing desires given background beliefs? And I want to say that you imagine yourself in one scenario, you imagine yourself in the other scenario, you compare the two imaginative episodes. And that's how we tend to make decisions like this. Okay, so what does it mean? So this was a very rudimentary way of explaining the imaginative model. So this is one role that imagination plays in decision making. I want to say in this paper that there's actually 3 roles that it plays. So first of all, the most basic role it plays is that this is some kind of imagining from the inside. You're imagining yourself in one scenario and in the other scenario. But the second role that imagination plays is by the way we represent these scenarios. So you're going to know a lot about these scenarios, and you're going to know a lot about your colleagues in this small town college, but not everything. So you're going to fill in the gaps of this scenario with your imagination. So you're not going to know what your house is going to be like where you live, or what you're going to do on Saturday nights, and so on. So you're going to fill this in terms of your imagination. And the third role that imagination plays has to do with who you're imagining in these scenarios. So it's not your present self, it's going to be your future self. Your present self is never going to be in these scenarios, so it's going to be your future self who you're imagining in these scenarios, or rather what you imagine to be your future self, right? You have no information about what your future self is going to be. Some really interesting empirical results about how people underestimate the differences between their present and future self. So you're imagining your future self to be some kind of person. You imagine the scenarios where you're going to be, this future self is going to be, and you're putting yourself in imagination, your future self. You're putting your imagined future self into these imagined scenarios, and that's how you make your decisions. So these are the 3 roles that imagination plays. It's a lot of imagination. Yeah. And then I argue that this way of explaining decision making is going to be able to account for a lot of interesting empirical findings about decision making, including availability bias and many of the initial empirical results that the belief-desire model was not consistent with. So I hope I managed to persuade you to make a decision to read the paper, and I'm looking forward to your comments. Thanks a lot.